Welcome to episode 6 of Lost Signals. My name is Darrell. I am joined again by Mr. JD. It is Friday evening on April 9th, I think. I can't remember my days anymore. It's kind of been that sort of week.
You're batting 1,000 so far. Everything's correct.
Hey man, sometimes you just you pull it out. Pull it out of your ass sometimes, right?
Sometimes you're just shot in the dark. Like, hey, what do you know? That hit.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
I'm tired. It's been a week or two just running around and just being busy.
Yeah.
Trying to go to bed early, but sometimes it doesn't work. Just got stuff going on, and yeah.
You just lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, going, I could count every single one of those popcorn marks.
Yeah. yeah, pretty much. Just trying to fight that sleep sometimes so you can get a little more done, but 99% of the time it doesn't work because I can fall asleep in no time at all now. Just
I've got the reverse issue. Even when I'm exhausted, like there are literally times where I am overtired and I'm so tired I can't fall asleep because I'm just wired for sound. And for the past 2 weeks, like it's been hair straight back. I have not had a single day off until yesterday. And I work today, and then I work tomorrow, and then I work Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. So I'm not going to have another day off until this upcoming Wednesday. Now, the reason why this is twofold. One, the work is there, which is great. And two, I figured out that the way things are rolling right now, I could actually be out of debt within like 2 months.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Then why the fuck wouldn't you be working your ass off?
Well, that's just it, right? Like putting in the extra effort, because the sooner I get out of debt, that means that I just have that extra income freed up, right?
Yeah, no, 100%, man. Congratulations. I wish I was 2 months from being debt free. Fuck.
I know it's not easy, and quite frankly, I've been in debt since I guess 2013, so 8 years.
Oh fuck.
Well, I don't know your financial situation, and we don't have to get into it, but I don't own a house. I am divorced. I am making spousal support payments, and that was a part of the agreement.
Yeah.
I also had a psychotic ex-girlfriend who fleeced me for money.
Yeah. That sounds like a story.
Oh yeah. And so I'm paying off that debt. And also like the spousal support payments are going to end soon. That is on a timeline, not necessarily like an amount type thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like I was smart that when I was married, we didn't buy anything together. So
that does make a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have to split a house. I didn't have to split a car or like anything, furniture, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
So her bills were her bills. My bills were my bills. But still, I've basically been digging myself out of debt constantly for 8 years.
Yeah.
So seeing that finish line, like in the middle of a marathon, as it were, seeing the finish line is like, oh, you know what? I got that little extra power. I can finish this.
Yeah.
So
no, dude, I get it. I just, I wish I could be at that point. I mean, I bought a house in 2009 and I'll probably never get rid of that mortgage payment, cause I'm at the point now where it's like, oh, well, I live alone, but it's like, I kind of want a bigger place now. So it's like, maybe take this equity and buy something else. It's just like, man, it's.
Yeah. But that is your house.
This is, I mean, the bank still owns half of it, but it's my house.
Yeah. That's fine. See, like I live in an apartment.
Yeah.
Right. And, like I got no problem sharing my financial situation. This is a 2-bedroom apartment in the middle of a mediocre sized town, almost the city of Prince George, British Columbia. And I pay $9.50 a month, but like I pay for I pay for security. I pay for the view because I have a beautiful balcony with an incredible view that I can see pretty much all of Prince George. I also have like a full-size stove, a full-size fridge, access to washer and dryer. I have my own storage room, which one bedrooms and bachelor suites don't have. So like I could be out of debt faster, but at the same time, I'm living comfortably. So
that's a really good trade-off sometimes.
Exactly.
Like I bought my house. I was still in the oil patch, and I think that's going to be a topic for today's podcast of kind of like
work history.
History. Yeah, we'll get into that later though.
Yes.
When I bought it, like I was working on the road, so it's like I had the cash. I mean, the cash for like a down payment, whatever. It's like, yeah, let's just do this, just to get away from throwing money at nothing, right? Rent. So I bought the house, and like in the first 5 months that I owned my house, maybe slept here like 6 nights. 8 nights, maybe or like, like a week here, maybe like a couple days here and there, just because I was gone all the time.
Yeah. But
then a couple months later, I got my real full-time job, and then, it made total sense what I did. But that's a story for later. So,
well, see, like I never bought a house, but at the same time, like I did work in the oil patch, and a lesson for anyone out there: if you are in the middle of a failing relationship, bad relationship, or in my case, a crumbling marriage, get your own fucking bank account. Because I worked in the oil.
Yep.
I worked in the oil patch for 2 years as a nitrogen tech, and I have a ex-wife who lives comfortably in her own house to show for it.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
She leaves me alone now.
That's fair. I mean, I spent 5 years in the oil patch, and I really don't have a whole bunch to show for it.
So, before we get actually into that work, let's go over news, I guess.
Yeah, let's see what happened in the last. What happened in the last day. I mean,
Jesus.
Yeah, so got to work this morning and had a little bit of spare minutes on my hands this morning, and looked at Twitter, and it's like, oh, Prince Phillip died.
Which, dude was a walking zombie for how long?
The last pictures that I saw him, it's like he looked disheveled. He looked, he looked like Sean's dad from Shaun of the Dead, not Sean's dad, like after he turned into a zombie.
Yeah,
like when he's in the Jag and he's like trying to eat everybody. That's what he looked like.
I know,
but worse.
Like, I didn't like. I knew that Queen Elizabeth had. It is Queen Elizabeth, right? See, that's how out of touch I am. Yeah. I knew Queen Elizabeth had her husband still around. I think I was aware of the fact that his name was Prince Philip. He wasn't the king.
No.
But like I just like seeing photos of him is like, how is he not dead? Like, Jesus.
Yeah, like a couple of years ago, he looked. He looked to be in his 90s, but he looked, a little spry, like he was fine. But in the last, I don't know, like year, he just looked like shit, really.
Just complete, just like, dude, you know what, dude, you're royalty. You live in the UK.
Yeah.
Go do what you want. Exactly. Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah.
All right. My goodness.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean.
And then on the exact same day.
DMX. Well, okay, so the thing about DMX dying. I mean, he had he overdosed last week. Like late last week.
Is that what that was? I thought it was a heart attack.
Yeah, heart attack induced by an overdose. Don't know if it was. Don't. I'm not even going to speculate because I'm not going to. It's not my place, and
we're not medical doctors.
I don't really care either.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently it was an overdose. He was in a vegetative state for the last week.
Yep.
People were
no brain activity.
Yeah, people were reporting last night that he was dead already, and he might have been, and it might have got leaked, but the family said no, he's not dead, and then they announced this morning that he was dead. It's like, yeah.
It's a Tom Petty thing all over again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everyone in the music world and radio were losing their mind. Like, Tom Petty, rest in peace.
Yeah.
You were an icon in the industry. But it's like, Tom Petty's in the hospital. Tom Petty's dead. No, he's not dead. He might be dead. He's not doing well. He's still in the hospital. Like, fucking what's going on?
that reminds me of that Simpsons episode where, like Mr. Burns was declared dead. And then he was moved to a better hospital where he was declared living. That's kind of what it seems like with this.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's kind of what, it felt like.
Or were they stalling because they needed to get some legal work stuff done?
And that's not.
And who knows?
Yeah, that's not out of the realm of reality.
Yeah.
All I knew is that DMX, this is how much I paid attention to it, and no disrespect at all. It's just not my world. DMX suffered a heart attack. He had zero brain activity. They had not pulled him off of life support yet. And everyone was losing their collective minds. Of course they were. But you pointed out the fact that, DMX wasn't exactly a walking saint.
No, and that's the thing. Like, people are really easy to separate the artist from the human. DMX was not a good person.
No.
And I'm like, speaking no ill will of the dead here, but like, the dude had 15 kids, and apparently was like lacking on child support payments.
Surprise.
But I mean, it sucks the way that he died. And maybe he wasn't happy. Like he had maybe depression, whatever. Or bad drug addiction. Like that happens with people that get that famous like that.
Or people in general. They just lose their way and fall into addiction. And for some people, it's just a point of no return.
Yeah,
there is no coming back from it at all whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't. It's not that I don't blame the guy for like maybe walking out on his obligations and stuff, but like, I don't know, man. It's like anybody else in that situation. You have your reasons why you do it. It doesn't make it right, though.
No, God, no, nope.
It sucks.
Yeah. But talking about like separating the person from the artist. I have a huge, massive issue with some of the music that I play on my radio show. Now, I have just a tiniest bit of creative control when it comes to my run list. Yep. It's a list that is already scheduled, created by the music director of a radio station, and I do my best to follow it to a T. Sometimes I'll change something. Sometimes I'll switch up an order. Sometimes I'll remove a song. Sometimes I'll put in a song.
Yeah.
But anytime I see the king of pop, Michael Jackson, show up on my run sheet, I am itching for an excuse to get rid of it. Just itching for an excuse.
I'm torn by. I mean, I 100% get what you're coming from.
Yeah.
With the craziness, and I mean, like the how to skin this cat. Like, I mean, like you can't judge him for the allocation or the allegations, right?
Right.
Like, because some of them were never proven.
Right.
But I know he was not a sane person.
God, no, far from it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it takes tragedy and a little crazy to create art. There is no argument here.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know that people say that like he created the Neverland Ranch because he didn't have a childhood.
Which is true.
100%. I mean, like I remember watching a documentary or a mockumentary, whatever, some bullshit movie back in the day about like his growing up. I don't think anybody would want that growing up.
No, God, no. I think you and I saw the same thing. It's not a documentary, but it was a life story.
Yeah.
Telling of,
and it,
right.
And it might have been maybe about the Jackson 5, maybe not specifically him, but I mean, it was the beginning. Yeah. But yeah, like, I don't know, man. So the lengths that parents will go to make their kid famous. I mean, that's a slippery fucking slope.
Yep.
Bad things can happen.
Yes. And it's also like I'm not a parent, you're not a parent, but at the same time, we both were kids. I know that there is a fine balance of encouragement and helping grow a talent or skill or ability. And then there is living your life through your kid.
Yeah, that obsessive vicariousness.
Yes.
That's not healthy either.
No, it's not.
But I wanted to have
so
I did have a fun fact about DMX before we move on to this. In the year 2000, so like 21 years ago.
I know.
Where's
the time go?
Down the hatch.
Yeah.
So
anyway.
DMX was in a Sum 41 video in the year 2000. In Sum 41's very first video for Makes No Difference, he showed up on a quad, like an all-terrain vehicle. I watched the video before we started this tonight.
I'm getting flashbacks, and like something's ran true here.
Yeah. He just so happened to be in Toronto. They were actually on the same label, Def Jam. Apparently, I saw it on the end credits of this video. So apparently he was in Toronto for business or whatever, and his producer, hey, do you want to be in this video? You just got to roll in on this quad, make a scene, and then leave. So yeah, DMX was in a Sum 41 video. I actually saw that because I checked Twitter before we came on. It's like, why the fuck is Sum 41 trending?
Oh God, who died now?
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was just because of DMX. So, yeah, so that's fun, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, to maybe leave on a little bit of a lighter note than the, bad stuff we were just talking about.
Well, I mean, it's funny because without even planning it, I have a transition topic from something we were talking about to something we're about to talk about. I received a message a couple of weeks ago from a former coworker.
Adult friend finder?
No, I blocked those.
Sorry, that was a bad joke.
I received a message from a former coworker a couple of weeks ago. And like I hadn't heard from the guy in a while. It was when I was working in the oil field. I was working for Halliburton. And I was
George W. Bush's company.
Yeah.
Do you ever meet old George W?
God no. Are you kidding? Why would he come up to Canada?
It's cold up here.
It's too cold. Too cold. My goodness. Hide them polar bears before he comes up. So anyway, again, like I was a nitrogen tech. And a nitrogen tech doesn't go out to work unless there are frackers. And fracking crew is like the meat of what the oil field is, right? They're the ones who go.
We could argue this later, but yeah.
Well, okay. So when it came to the job sites where I was, like a good 65% of the crew that was on site were frackers.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Okay. So he was a fracker. I was nitrogen tech, but like we just got along because we had the same type of sense of humor and like we were hired at around the same time, so we went through the same training classes together. Anyway, so like that was years ago. That was 2000. Last time I worked with him was late 2013. A couple of weeks ago, I got a text message or a Facebook message from him saying like, "Hey, dude, I'm sorry. I know we haven't talked in a while, but I'm really struggling here. I am broken down on the side of the road. I'm just outside of this strip mall, and I need to buy a fan belt so I can just get home. Could you like forward me $80?" And I like honestly, like I was broke at that time. Like it doesn't happen often, but I was just flat broke. Like I didn't have anything at all.
Yeah.
So I said, dude, like, no, totally understand. I appreciate you shouting out and, you know, reaching out and trying, but like, honestly, like I'm just broke. I'm sorry. Good luck. Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, no worries. No big deal. So don't think anything of it. And then 3 or 4 days ago, I get another message from him like, hey, dude, can you like send me $20? I'll pay you 40. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
You weren't broken down on the side of the road. You were in a fix is what you were.
I've heard that story before.
Yeah. So I immediately like I didn't respond. And I suggest if this happens to anyone and you suspect something like this, just
go.
Nothing. Just go.
Just don't.
Yeah. So I blocked him immediately. And then I was like, wait, he's not on social media as much as his wife is.
Yeah.
So I would like, I go searching, right? And then I find his wife on Instagram. And 3 months ago was a post saying, just to let everyone know, myself and my husband have decided to separate. We're going in different directions, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, okay. So I sent her a message and go like, hey, so your, I guess, ex-husband has been sending me messages asking me for money. What's going on? And she starts getting into it. I'm like, oh, and then I start backtracking to 2013. I'm like, he was starting to act weird towards the end of that job. Yep. So he fell into the crack pit, as it were.
Yep.
And did not find his way out at all.
I've seen that fall.
Yeah. I've like going back and thinking about it, like I've seen crackheads in action, and it's just the craziest fucking thing ever. Because I remember one time I was hanging out at a buddy's place, and like whatever, I was much much younger, and so guaranteed I was a designated driver at the time, so I wasn't drinking any alcohol.
Yeah.
And like I don't smoke, and I've only ever like smoked weed like 2-3 times. Anyway, so
amateur,
clean as a whistle, dry, straight edge, whatever you want to call it. I'm at this party, and there's this one guy sitting on the floor, and he's doing this. He's just picking at the carpet. I'm like, what are you doing? And what's that smell? That's thinking back, and yes, exactly. That's thinking back and moving forward is like, oh, he was looking for another fix.
Yeah.
And of course he had like the carpet he was sitting on was a Berber carpet, multicolored with little white specks in it. So he must have been, he was just going out of his mind.
He dropped a fucking a rock. Yeah. Yeah. So, it must have been 2007. No, 2007. Yeah, I was gonna say 2017, but probably 2007.
Okay.
I was working for a drilling company. I was working outside of Beaver Lodge, Alberta. I spent about 5 years up there.
Mm-hmm.
Got called by my boss. It's like, yeah, we got a month of work in the middle of summer, which is odd for the kind of work I was doing on a drilling rig. It wasn't odd, but it just like for the rig I was on, we never got summer work. Got a call from my boss. He's like, yeah, get a hold of this driller. He lives in Kindersley. It's a couple hours away from me, but it's on the way up.
Right.
Not really, but it was kind of.
Right.
So like, because this driller needed a ride. I'm like, yeah, whatever. You know, he'll give me some cash for gas or whatever.
Yep.
Pick him up, whatever. We go to work. go to work for a month. And yeah, I think we worked like 26, 27 days straight. It was great. We were making like tons of cash. It was great.
Yeah.
We get a week off. So go home. Or sorry, I got to jump back. We get our week off. We're on our way home. But I got to take this driller back to Kindersley. We had both worked the whole day. And we're going to drive through the night, and like we're 5 hours north of Edmonton. So
right.
I'm like 10 hours away from home. So I'm like, I'll drive for the first bit. We'll get, an hour or two out of Edmonton. I'll hop in the back seat. I'll crash, and then he can drive through Edmonton. And then on the way back, or on the way to Kindersley, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
So whenever that happens, I crawl in the back seat. I fucking crash hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I woke up every once in a while as we're going through towns, you wake up and you look and you can see, street lights or whatever going by.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we're stopped. We're stopped under a street light. I'm like, I get up and I'm looking like, where in the fuck are we? I look around. We're around a bunch of houses. Like, what in the fuck is going on? Look around more. It's like, and I see this guy not running, but like he's walking fast the truck. He goes to the box of the truck and he fucking jams something in his bag, gets in the truck, and we take off again. I'm like, where in the fuck are we? So, oh man, I just had to grab something real quick. It's fine. It's fine though. We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. I'm young and I'm naive. I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Which is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we get outside Edmonton. We're headed towards Kindersley. And, I finally wake up. I'm awake, and it's like I'm ready to drive again. It's like, yeah, man, I've been itching to get into that stuff I got in my bag this whole way. I'm like, man, you're going to get yourself into some bad fucking trouble with that. Whatever. Drop him off at home. He does his thing. I go home. I go back up to work. I tried to get a hold of him and see if he needed a ride back up to work. He said, no, I got a ride with somebody else. So I get up to work. We're at work that night. I'm working with 2 other guys, and there's supposed to be 5 of us. It was the driller that was buying the crack cocaine in Edmonton, and another guy that was not a very good person either. They were supposed to be on our crew. Yeah, they never showed up.
Yeah.
They got arrested.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
just they never showed up. On the bright side though, I got a promotion, so it was great. Yeah. So don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah. Your fuck up is my success.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Let me see here. Because like you and I, like I know that if I were to go through my resume and list every single fucking job I've ever had, ever since I started working when I was 14, my resume, front and back, would be about 6 pages long.
Mine would be probably pretty similar.
Yeah, exactly.
There's been a lot of stuff that I've done over the years, and we kind of alluded to this at the end of last week's podcast too. So
yeah. So like talking like work horror stories. You want to stay in the oil field. Like some incredible experiences I had working out in the oil field. When I was working, we were based out of Grand Prairie. I was living in Grand Prairie, but we worked.
I feel so bad for you.
Yeah, but we worked up and down Alberta, most of like even higher north of British Columbia than I am right now.
Did you ever go up to like Helmet?
No,
like Fort Nelson, like that north.
Fort Nelson, yes,
but like
Fort Nelson, I went there 3 times.
Helmet is just north of Fort Nelson.
Yeah, I didn't make it that far.
I did. I ended up in Helmet once, and it was not fun. Oh, it was far, man. It was far.
Yeah. Anyway, British Columbia, Alberta, and Saskatchewan is pretty much where I was working.
Yeah.
A more lighthearted work story is the part of the contract of me working for Halliburton was the fact that they were going to pay for my Class 1 license. Class 1 license, if you don't live in Canada or if you don't live in British Columbia, it could be different wherever you are. Class 1 license gives you the opportunity and the permission to drive big truck.
Yeah.
It also, you have to do like an air brake course and all that stuff. The air brake course stays on your license. So Halliburton was willing to pay for me to learn how to drive big truck and for me to get my Class 1 license, which is a couple of thousands of dollars of investment.
It's $13,000 here now.
Yeah. Okay. So
to get your Class 1A,
not cheap. And this company was not only willing to pay for this for me, but they were going to employ me immediately afterward.
Yeah.
So,
and they would probably pay you while you're going through the course.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like it was like a win-win-win, right?
Yeah.
So doing this job, working as a nitrogen tech, it was fine. But I found myself doing one of three things depending on what the job was. If I wasn't in the shop, I was out in the field. And so one of three things could be on the ground, which is by far the worst spot to be. In a nitrogen pump, which is more comfortable, but still not exactly the best. Or driving bulker, which means that you drive a tractor trailer, go to wherever a liquid nitrogen plant is, fill up that truck, and drive it back. And you can stop for coffee. You can listen to the radio.
Yeah.
You can just hit cruise control and you get paid, right?
That sounds like probably the best job out of the three.
So I knew that if I wasn't going to be inside a nitrogen pump, I was going to volunteer to drive.
Oh,
because because I was basically like saying, I was basically unbeknownst to me, but I figured out eventually no one wanted to drive. So well, whatever, right? So no one wanted to drive. And so when the roster comes out and it's like, okay, we need so-and-so in pump A, so-and-so in pump B, so-and-so in the Hurricane, which is a very big pump.
Yeah.
And there's no other slots for a nitrogen operator, I would go, drive.
Yep.
I want to drive. So I got quickly I got asked and tapped for a lot of driving jobs, which to me is fucking great. You know, it got to the point where it's like, that truck right there, that's your truck, JD. Don't let anyone else take that truck. That is your truck.
Perfect.
Cool. Right. Yep. So there was one time in Grand Prairie, we just got like an hour into our shift and it wasn't going to be anything exciting. We weren't going out into the field. We were just going to hang around the shop, and a piece of equipment needed to be swapped out in Fort Nelson.
Oh,
now, Grand Prairie to Fort Nelson.
That's an 8-hour drive.
Yes, it is.
So I know because I made that drive.
Yeah. So they immediately came up to me and said, "Do you want to do this?" Fuck yeah. Sure. It's like, okay, well, grab your truck. That's the trailer. It needs to go to Fort Nelson. Call this number when you get close and someone will meet you halfway. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So like, hook it up, ready to go. Got my lunch. Off I go, cruising down the road, having a great time. And then, as I get to Fort Nelson, like, I'm not going to have enough fucking time to get back.
Yeah.
Because each one of these trucks has a little unit. It's about twice the size of my phone, right?
Oh,
and it monitors. Yeah. It monitors your hours, distance. It even tells me fuel consumption, all that stuff, right? So I knew that at some point in time, this thing is going to start beeping. And if I don't acknowledge it, it'll shut down the truck.
Yeah.
Not in motion, but it'll be like, you need to pull over now.
Yeah.
So
it'll probably start throttling you back. And
exactly. Yeah. Right. So anyway, like haul ass out to Fort Nelson from Grand Prairie. And sure as heck, I get to close to Fort Nelson. I call the number. I said, hey, I'm in this unit, blah, blah, blah. I am heading this way. They said, okay, guy's sitting in the truck already. He's leaving now. So sure as hell, meet the guy, swap trucks or swap trailers. Of course, I keep my truck.
Yeah.
And just like, boom, pin it. And I'm making my way back. I get to Fort St. John.
Oh, yeah.
And like the alarm starts going off and I'm getting tired and headlights coming at me are just becoming worse and worse and worse. So I call up my my field manager and I said, I need to stop. He goes, yeah, I see it. The warnings just came up on my screen. Hold on, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. Okay, cool. 5 minutes later, he calls up and he goes, all right, I can see you. It's fucking creepy because like, yeah, I can see you on my map. Like, oh, great.
Yeah.
He goes, you should see a hotel real quick. Your name is already on the list. It's already been paid for. Grab a hotel room, grab something to eat, and get back to the shop tomorrow. It's like, cool.
Yeah.
So pull over, sign out the truck, and lock it up. Walk into the hotel, and this is how quiet it is. As I'm walking into the hotel, these people don't know me from Adam. As I'm walking into the hotel, the person behind the counter goes, James? I went, yeah. She goes, here's your card. Yeah.
See,
walk up to my room, drop my bag, like, fuck, I'm hungry. The hotel shared a parking lot with the Mr. Mike's Steakhouse.
Nice.
I walked in there and again, like dead, like no one in there whatsoever. So like the bartender's chatting me up, the waitresses are coming by and just like, hey, how are things? Blah, blah, blah. I remember this vividly. I ordered a Smuggler's Cove chicken, which was a garlic fried prawns and a grilled chicken breast and mashed potatoes and like a tossed salad. And I ordered a blueberry tea. Shut up.
But no liquor?
Blueberry tea. Okay, so blueberry tea is actually a hot alcohol drink. I'll give you a moment.
I inhaled that beer.
It's fine. So a blueberry tea is actually a hot alcohol drink. It's not actually just like a tea bag.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't remember what the hell is on it. And it's the first time I've ever had it. But I saw it, went, that sounds perfect right now. Anyway, so I had the Smuggler's Cove chicken with the grilled garlic tiger prawns and the blueberry tea. I finished this fucking meal and I was so relieved and satisfied and exhausted. I had to fight back tears. After, like, it wasn't a bad day. It was a long day.
Oh, right? Yeah.
So, I went back to the hotel, passed out immediately, woke up the next morning, had a decent breakfast, got back to the shop, and it was just like, it's days like that, like you don't mind it at all because it wasn't like I was in trouble and it wasn't like I was unappreciated or anything like that. It was just like, hey, you're back. Okay, cool. Like get on with the rest of the day. It was perfect. It was a perfect day.
So my time in the oil field, it was a lot different, I guess. So I worked on a drilling rig. Like I worked on a telescopic double that drilled to 3,500 meters. That was our maximum depth we could drill to.
Gotcha.
We would get onto a hole and we would be there for anywhere from 30 to, I think the longest we were on for like 85 days in one spot. So it was actually kind of nice because you always went to the same spot. We had a camp set up. It was great. Like yeah, it was a lot busier when I was in the oil field compared to what you're talking about. It's like, so you're saying like you rolled into Fort St. John and just got a hotel room.
Yeah.
Not back when I was out there. There was no way. There was no way,
Really?
because it was that busy that
Hmm.
I knew companies that booked hotel rooms for like perpetually.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they found a block of rooms, they would just keep paying for them, no matter if they needed them or not, because in case somebody needed them, they had them, because it was that busy up there.
Well, when were you in the oil field? Because I was working from 2012 to 2014.
I was 2005 to 2009.
Okay, yeah. So
like
massive market difference.
Yes.
Yes.
I worked through the crash of 2008. I wasn't affected by that at all, because the company that I was working for had contracts, which is really good. Where everybody else is sitting at home, I was working.
Yeah.
But
I was I got out just as things started to plummet at the end of 2013. There was, I can only remember one time where it was a bit of it wasn't a struggle, but it was definitely a clusterfuck to get a hotel room. And it was High Prairie, Alberta.
It's what, 2 hours north of Grand Prairie?
I think so.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was like, I hope I didn't cut off your story. Okay.
No, the gist of my story was that like it was a very different time when I was out there, and I'll get into that in a bit.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I think it was High Prairie. I know it's not high level Alberta. That's different. Because High Prairie, you drive in between mountains, and it's basically a straight stretch. And at one point in time, you actually drive through the middle of a coal mine.
Okay.
And then to get up to High Prairie, you have to scale a mountain with a switchback road.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so again, like we were doing a job out just beyond this area, and there was a hotel that we were staying at, and they said, okay, blah 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 blah. You're on this job. You're on this job. You're on this job. JD, you're on bulker. I went, yes.
Yeah.
So, but this was a different situation, because there was no nitrogen plant close enough for me to make a day trip. So I had to meet other bulkers, other tractor trailers, and transfer from their tractor trailer to my tractor trailer liquid nitrogen. And I couldn't just take their trailer. I had to transfer
it.
You
actually physically had to transfer it. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So that was my job, and everyone else was on a schedule. And when you're on a schedule, like, you're either on day shift or night shift. That's it. Right. Yeah. And, depending on how far away you are from the site, your day could be 13 hours to 16 hours. Like, it's just stupid. Me being on bulker meant that my schedule was dependent on what was available. So the first night, they said, okay, everyone's getting a room, sharing a room, blah, blah, blah. You switch off with day shift, night shift. Like, okay, fine, whatever. And I, unfortunately, had to share a room with a guy by the name of Dave. Great guy, but he had breathing and sinus issues, like, visibly. Right. The guy snored when he was awake, so it wasn't good. So when I found out I was having to share a hotel room with him, separate beds,
whatever you need to tell yourself, man. I'm not one to judge here.
Shut up. I'm telling the story. So
I'm telling the truth, though.
Yeah, I did everything possible to try to make sure that I was going to get to sleep first. And so fortunately, like, I fell asleep. Now, when I woke up the next morning, I instantly realized it was going to be an issue, because I woke up due to Dave's phone going off as the day shift crew was looking for him to finish to wake up so that they can go to work. And I hadn't gotten a call yet to meet the bulker.
Oh.
Yeah. So first of all, I literally was hucking every single fucking pillow across the room to wake up Dave, and he wasn't waking up. And finally he woke up and he got out. And then about an hour later, I got the call, a transfer truck is on its way, meet him somewhere between here and there.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So wake up, have breakfast, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going through my shift and then transfer, drive my way out to the site, transfer back. And then I got back to the hotel and I instantly realized that this was going to be an issue because my day had now transferred from being on a day shift to being somewhere between day shift and night shift.
Oh.
So I called up my manager and said, like, look, like, I'm not complaining, but I'm telling you the situation right now. I'm on a completely different schedule. I'm not on day shift. I'm not on night shift. I am somewhere in between.
Get me my own goddamn room.
Yeah, and I said, like, I don't think it's gonna be fair for me or whoever I'm sharing a room with if this continues because I'm on a different schedule. And on top of that, like, you're having 4 people to a room, which means that if I'm in between day shift and night shift, and that means that when I try to go to sleep, like, where am I going to find a fucking room? Because day shift is now night shift is now taking up a bed where I should be.
Yeah.
They said, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. Go up to the reception desk and tell them this is the account number and find any room possible. I say, okay, cool. So I go up to the reception and the front desk, and I say, here's the situation. Here's what's going on. Here's the account number. I need a room by myself. They said, oh, we don't have many rooms at all. I'm not picky. I don't care. I don't care. Like, I just need a room to myself. That's all. Right. And I wasn't asking for anything at all. Just give me a fucking bed.
Yeah.
A bed and a shower. Right. So they said, okay, well, not in this building, but in the building behind us, there is an extra room you can have. It's on the ground floor. I'm sorry. I went, whatever. I don't fucking care. Right. So I go into the other building, like, I grab all my stuff. I go into the other building and I open the door to my brand new room. There's a king size bed. There's a hot tub in the middle of the fucking room. I'm like, yes.
Nice. That is a definite win.
Yeah. So I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning. I go to work, transfer, blah, 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 drive out the site. And then I see Dave and I see one of my buddies, Ryan. And they're like, hey, you got your own room? I'm like, yeah. Oh, what is it? Like, what's in it? It's fucking nothing special.
It's just shit. So you don't even want to see it. It's that bad.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's a bed. It's a closet with a bed. That's,
yeah.
Little did they know, like, an hour after I'm done my shift, I'm like,
in the hot tub. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, so one winter we were working in Grand Prairie, well, Beaver Lodge, again, just west of Grand Prairie. We knew we were going to be there for the whole winter. So there was 9 of us off of the rig I was on. There's 3 crews. There's always two crews on the rig, and there was always one crew that was off on their week off. So 3 guys on each crew, the guys that had kind of been on the rig for a while, we decided to rent a trailer. We rented a house trailer.
Ooh.
It cost us $1,800 a month to rent this house trailer.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It was really good because there was 9 of us. It cost us $200 each a month. We were getting $150 a day or $140 a day for a living allowance. So in a day and an hour or 2 hours, your room and board was paid for.
Cannot complain.
There was always beer in the fridge. There was always groceries in the fridge. We went out to eat every night because that's just the way we were.
Yeah.
But yeah, there, like it was warm. He'd had a bed.
It was comfortable.
There was a shower. That's all that's all you really gave a fuck about.
Yeah.
We had a crew truck. Yeah, it was great. Yeah. Man.
Did you ever run into the issue? Go ahead.
No. You go right ahead.
Did you ever run into the issue of it being too cold?
Kind of.
Yeah.
So in the winter on a drilling rig, there's always a boiler set up. So we always had steam heat. So you're always kind of cold and you're always kind of damp. I mean, kind of warm, because that steam heat, it's always kind of that damp heat, right?
Yeah, it's not the best.
No, but I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
So every once in a while, you go and you had to walk around and do stuff around the lease. And the lease is big. It's like football field big at times. And a couple times, like I'd be walking across and I was wearing those Dunlop, the green bastard boots, we called them. Or the if you had the orange ones, the pumpkin fuckers.
Yeah.
And I still have a pair of the pumpkin fuckers at home, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're great boots. But yeah, there was one day I was walking across the lease and it was like minus 40 out. And they froze. It was like walking in ski boots. I actually have a picture of me holding a digital thermometer, pointing it at the ground, and it was like, or pointing it at the catwalk, and it was minus 45 or 46 or some shit. Yeah, no, so like I've dealt with that, and it was disgusting, and I fucking hated it. But they're paying me good money to do it, so.
There's two instances that come to mind where I had to deal with too cold. One of them was Mother Nature, and the other one was a catastrophic failure. Yeah, I'll get the catastrophic failure. Was just outside of Whitecourt, which is very high up Alberta, and
that's not very high up.
High-ish.
That's like an hour and a half north of Edmonton.
Pretty much, yeah. So
for some people, that would be considered high up Alberta.
I'm just speaking to the general audience.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So I was on the ground, and it was in the middle of a shift, so I didn't have the opportunity to go driving because there was no point in driving, and also there was no pumps for me to operate, so I was on the ground.
Yep.
Which is unfortunate. It wasn't too cold outside, but it was definitely nipping at the heels of winter. Now, the catastrophic failure happens when something, a line, a pump, a pipe, something like that just lets go.
Yeah.
And I was in full gear, prepared for winter, standing beside a nitrogen pump. And the bottom end of it just let go, and it dumped nothing but liquid nitrogen on the ground.
Oh my.
And I was like standing like right next to it when it happened, and I knew I was in trouble immediately. So as I'm running past, I hit all the levers, shutting the whole thing down.
Yeah.
Right. And shutting the line and the flow and everything, just blah, 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 as I'm running past, and I'm sprinting towards one of the trucks, and I could feel like everything in my heel, in my ankle, and my foot just locking up. Right.
Oh yeah.
I get inside one of the trucks, and working the oil field, one of the trucks is always an F-350.
It's funny.
They're always white.
Yeah, it's like around my hometown. Yeah, that still happens.
So I get into the passenger side of this truck. As soon as I slam the door, I just shift my body to one side, and I hear crunch. And I look down, and my brand new winterized work boots had just split open because they were frozen solid.
Yep.
It saved my feet.
Thank fuck.
But it sacrificed the fucking boots.
Hey man, they were doing their job then.
They were doing their job.
Yeah.
So that was the catastrophic failure. The other time where it was too cold was a lot less dramatic. It was just outside of Fox Creek. and it was a small crew. They only asked for one pump, and so I got to work with one of my buddies, Ryan, and we get out there, and he's like, he's paying attention to the news, he's paying attention to the weather, and he's kind of like rubbing his hands together like he's an evil overlord and whatever. Like, well, what's going on? He goes, so it's gonna get cold tonight. I went, okay. He goes, if it gets cold enough, you'll see. Like, okay. So sure as shit, it's bloody cold outside.
Yeah.
There's only one pump. Ryan and I are taking turns. One night he's in the pump, I'm on the ground. The other night I'm in the pump, he's on the ground.
Yeah.
But it's so cold outside where it's just like, if you don't have to be on the ground, get into this truck and just stay warm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then one night I was in the pump, and to be inside a nitrogen pump is to be inside a refrigerator with windows and a door and a giant instrument panel, and as noisy as fuck. just nothing but noise. And the only thing that's saving your ears is the fact that you have to wear a headset to communicate with the other crews and the operators and stuff like that. And it's well insulated. So anyway, and in the middle of this, and I hear everyone start shutting down immediately, like kick out. And that's all we're hearing is just kick out. So kick out, and shut down the pump and just stop the flow and the whole deal. And then I hear an alarm, and then I see Ryan come screaming out of the truck, and he's like, yes! Like, what's going on? So he comes into the pump. He goes, it's too cold outside. I went, okay, well, like, are we in trouble? He goes, no, you don't understand. It's so cold outside that we now have to sit here and get paid full tick to make sure the trucks stay running.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I went, oh.
Yeah.
So for a week straight, I sat in one of the trucks and just had it on high idle in the sleeper cab. Every single one of these trucks were a sleeper truck. In the sleeper truck, playing video games, watching movies, and getting paid like $300, $400, $500 a day to do this.
See, I never had that luck because because we were all self-sufficient, right? Like, we had multiple diesel generators.
Yeah.
Like my job before I quit, I was a motor hand, so I actually took care of like 7 or 8 huge diesel generators, did oil changes and maintenance on them and all. So like there was always a backup one ready to go. Like, we always had a backup generator. So like we never got to shut down when it got too cold. Even if it got too windy. It's like, no, you could just shut the fuck up and go to work. But the nice thing was, like, when we got to like the super deep stuff that we did, like when we were at like 2,000, like 2,800 meters or deeper, we were drilling like 5 meters an hour.
Okay, yeah.
Not even like 2 meters an hour. So like you would add another pipe 3 times a night in a 12-hour shift. And then you just go and you'd clean stuff and hang out and just try not to be seen.
Yeah, I'm busy.
Yeah,
doing busy work.
Like my thing was I would just walk around with a wrench and act like I was doing something, and nobody would ever question me because that was my job. It's like, oh, he must be going to fix something. It's like, I wasn't going to fix nothing. I was just fucking trying to keep busy.
Yeah,
but you know what? The thing is, the rig never blew up, and we were always busy. So I was obviously doing something right.
Yes. Yeah.
So
the one catastrophic failure was the one time I could remember something going that wrong, especially on the nitrogen side.
Yeah.
There were times where a frac rig or pump or chemical truck or even a cement truck, and we worked with cement pumps as well.
Yeah.
Would fail, and it would shut down everything, and it didn't matter to us at all. because we were still there. Everything was still connected to the pump. So that meant we were still getting paid.
Yeah.
But there were other times where it's just like, oh, come on, anything. Come on, just do something, right?
Yeah.
And those days sucked. But, at the end of it, you get to the payday and you look at the check and go, okay, it wasn't that bad.
So, full disclosure, the one year that I was working, it was summer. We were getting our full subsistence, so we're getting $140 a day tax free. I was taking home $5,500 every 2 weeks. And this was like 13 years ago.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's reasonable. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Like that was even now, I mean, like if you were taking home $5,500 every 2 weeks, like that's a lot of money. I'd stab somebody for $5,500 for every 2 weeks. Right now. Like I'd stab them repeatedly. Anyways, but yeah, but I mean that's we started this with like like job history and whatever, and then we ended up just talking about the oil field for fucking 45 minutes.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
No, absolutely not. We can talk about other jobs another time.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's one quick story that I could tell. I could tell you why I stopped.
Yeah.
And
then I'll tell you about the time I cut somebody's finger off.
Oh God. that sounds good.
That'll be a good way to end it.
Yes, exactly. So the reason why I stopped is it sounds silly and it sounds ridiculous, but it really comes down to a lack of communication. I'm the type of guy where as long as I'm informed, as long as you tell me what I need to do, where I need to be, and what I got to do when I got there, I'm fine.
It's pretty simple stuff, right?
Yeah, but it came down to a severe lack of communication and zero excuses. So I had two bosses, and one was more superior than the other. But I also had two cell phones, my personal cell phone and my work cell phone.
Ugh.
I wasn't a fan, but so it all started to break down when we all got these new cell phones. For whatever reason, and I have a sneaking suspicion I had something to do with it, and I'll explain why in a minute. We all got iPhones.
Gross.
For work phones.
Gross.
First and only time I've ever held one of these things and claimed it was my own. Oh. So anyway, so this is how they were basically going to communicate. But at the same time, I still had my own phone, and I had a BlackBerry at the time. And so I started noticing that I was constantly late to pre-trip my truck and go out onto a job site. But it wasn't for any reason other than the fact that everyone else started earlier than me. And so I approached one of my supervisors and I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "Well, you're late." I said, "Late for what?" He goes, "Well, I sent out a mass text and asking everyone to be at the shop by such and such time because we're heading out to blah, blah, blah." And so I pulled out my work phone and I looked at it and I showed it to him and I go, "You didn't text me." He goes, "Well, it must have been your personal phone." So I pulled out my personal phone and I go, "Nothing." He goes, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll see if we can rectify that." Cool. Whatever. So anyway, get through the job. And then there's one time after this, we head out to a job site and we set up and then we are camped in Fox Creek. And the agreed upon time was be awake by 6 and be in a truck by 7 a.m. Yeah. Okay, fine. So we get to the camp and we had this agreed conversation. Awake by 6, truck by 7. I literally like grab my dinner, make my way to my room and like eating it as I'm grab my dinner, make my way to my room, and what happened there?
Sorry, I was pulling something up for a second. Go ahead.
Okay. And go to bed immediately. So then I wake up at 6 and I get ready to go have breakfast, and I realize quickly that the rest of my crew isn't around. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Get into the truck at 7 o'clock, and I again quickly realize the rest of my crew isn't even around, period. So leave the truck idling, head back into the shop or head back into the camp.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I start to see my crew start rambling into the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? Like, oh, they bumped up the time. We have to be on site by 9 o'clock. Like, what? Why didn't anyone tell me? Or was it like, sorry, did you have your phones on? Like, fucking yes.
Yeah.
Jesus. So that happened. And then there was a meeting that followed, and it was basically like an open forum meeting where the managers were there and the rest of the crew were there.
Yeah.
And just get anything out. And I went, okay, the lack of communication here is really troubling. And I go, what do you mean? I said, I've already found myself in a couple of situations where it would have been nice to know the start time, or if the start time has changed, and I wasn't informed. And there's no excuse. I always have my phones on, both phones, and I'm not getting any text messages or phone calls or nothing. And I said, like, it could really, and like not directly claiming myself, but saying it could really make someone feel like they're not a part of the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they said, oh yeah, no, we totally understand. We totally understand. Like, okay, cool. So everything's fine for a couple more weeks, and I'm getting these text messages and, come here, grab this, blah, 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 grab your truck. And then we were on night shift, and last I heard was, hey, what was it? We were on night shift, and they said, okay, you're going to transfer over to day shift. So take a day and a half. That way you can reset, and then off you go.
Yeah.
Say, okay, cool. So I'm on night shift. I stay up ungodly amount of hours. And then just as I'm about to head to bed, I get a text message. Hey, we need you at the shop. What? We need you to go out and go to this site and grab a truck and then come back. I'm like, but I've just been up for like over 24 hours. Oh, well, why'd you do that? What do you mean, why'd I do that? I was told I was going over to day shift. Oh, well, I mean, you should check with us. But like, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold the fuck on here. So I go into the shop and I go, what's the fucking big idea? It's like, well, you should have checked with us. I said, the last I heard was I was moving from night shift to day shift. Take a day and a half off. That way you can transfer over and be properly rested for day shift. That's the last I heard.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you should have just, I say, no, don't put this on me. Well, we need someone to go out there and grab the truck. Fine. So I drive out. I am dog tired, but I'm not tired enough that I'm in trouble. Drive out, get to site, grab the truck, bring it back, wash it. Don't talk to anyone. Go straight to bed.
I would have thrown the fucking keys at him. Fuck you. Just fuck you.
So I'm this close. I am this close to just pitching everything across the yard. Like, fuck y'all. Right. So I just good night's sleep. That's all I need. Good night's sleep. Right. So then I wake up the next morning and my alarm goes off. I look over. Okay, nothing on my phone. Look over, work phone, nothing there either. Have breakfast, make my way to the yard, go through the morning meeting, look around. Where the fuck is my crew? So I find, I don't find my crew. I don't find either one of my two managers.
Yeah.
I go find a fracking manager, and I said, "Where's nitrogen crew Charlie?" Oh, they're out at Fox Creek. Oh. I call up the more senior of the two managers, and I go, "Hey, it's JD. What's going on? Where are you?" "I'm at the shop." "Oh, hold on a sec." Click. 5 minutes later, call back. It's the more senior of the managers. He goes, "Yeah, the other manager fucked up again and he didn't text you. You should have been in the yard by 5 a.m.
Oh, no.
I'm just fucking livid at this point in time. Like, holy shit, how does this go wrong? And so I asked him, like, what happened? Like, what happened to the conversation? What happened to, like, hey, this could really make someone feel like they are not a part of the team, and also the whole rigmarole of me being up for 24 hours and then trying to chastise me for being up for 24 hours after I understood that was transferring over to day shift.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on? And the manager I'm speaking to goes, like, I don't know. He, I guess, just doesn't add you to the text message group. Like, he clearly has you in his phone. I have you in my phone, clearly. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm done.
Yep.
He goes, what? I said, all due respect, I'm going to finish this shift. I'm going to take my holidays, and then I'm back for 2 weeks, and then I'm done.
I wouldn't even gone back for the 2 weeks. Fuck you. Actually,
I don't, but see, my thought is like, I got another good payday coming up, regardless of what's going on. Even all these fuck ups that happened, all these miscommunications that happened, they still paid me, right?
Yeah.
Even though according to the books they shouldn't have, but they still did. So this was, again, twofold, because I try to think a little forward. Is one, I still had another payday coming up, and two, I want them to suffer for the remainder 3 weeks and watch me work my ass off and have them go, we fucked up.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think they care that much. I really don't.
Oh, no, they towards the end there is like, is there anything we can do to keep you?
Yeah. Fair enough.
Nope. Yeah, there's one thing you could have done to keep me. Fucking keep me informed.
Yeah. So this will be the last story that I'm going to tell.
Sure.
So my very first year on the rigs, I worked on what they called the penalty box rig. It wasn't actually my very first rig. I went out to one rig by Grand Prairie, and then I chickened out, kind of.
Okay.
But it was too far away for me to go to work, was what I was thinking. So they sent me to a rig in Slave Lake, Alberta.
Oh, yeah.
Or was it Slave Lake? Yeah, it was. So I ended up going out to this rig for the entire winter. And it was good. It was fine. There's a bunch of other stories that I could tell that happened during this time, but I'm just not going to get into that because it takes way too long and it's way too convoluted and fucked up. But anyways, we were without anybody, like, for people listening that don't understand rig stuff, what we were doing the night I cut the guy's finger off.
Oh, God.
And it wasn't even my fault. So we were putting up a 10-inch PVC pipe to divert drilling fluid from one part, or from the drilling stem to go over our shaker system.
Okay.
So all of it was, we had 2 pieces of 10-inch PVC pipe. One was belled on one end, and we had it duct taped up. Duct taped up. Here we go.
We're in overtime right now, so I'm not blaming you at all.
We're way over. So it was minus 40 some that night. So I was on the lower end of the pipe. The derrick hand was on the upper end of the pipe as we're trying to put this pipe into position because we were just rigging up. So he's like, lift it up. So I lifted it up. Where it was taped in the middle broke. And the pipe fell. And all of the handrails on these rigs are like 2-inch square tubing.
Right.
And again, it's minus 40 out. So he had about that much of his pinky over the edge of the square tubing and this PVC pipe that probably weighed not much, like maybe 50 pounds. Fell right on his finger. And he jumped around a little bit. Like he thought he just, like it just maybe lost a nail or something.
Yeah.
Whatever. He went up into the doghouse, which is the control center of the rig.
Yeah.
And I went up there too right away. Not right away because I didn't see it, but I guess he took his glove off and looked, and then he shook his glove out. And the end of his pinky came out.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
God.
So that was one story from the penalty box rig. And I'll tell you, the last story of the night that I'll tell.
Sure.
Was the day that I left the penalty box rig.
Okay.
So I worked on that rig for the whole winter of, I think, 2006. Whenever the Oilers had their last playoff run. 2006?
I think that's right.
Yeah. I think it was the spring of 2006.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of work in Edson. Or not a bunch of work. We had a couple holes we had to do in Edson. Go up there. And they're all re-entry holes. So, like, they're old wells that were dug fucking, like, 40 years ago. They want us to go in and re-drill them and see if we can find something afterwards. So, we get out there. We're out there, like, 12 days or something. And we do a bunch of work, and then all of a sudden we lose something down the hole. So, in big rig terms, that means you're completely fucked if you lose something down the hole. Because you have to go and get it out. No, you have to.
Yeah.
You can't just leave it down there. You have to get it out. So, we actually end up getting what we needed out of the hole. But then something else happened, and I can't remember because it's like fucking 15 years ago. We ended up having to trip in and out of the hole every day for like 6 days.
Oh.
Like, because we're trying to find something or get something or like get to a certain point. So it was a Sunday morning, I think. And me and a buddy that I'm still friends with, actually. We were on our way out to the rig. And I had a bad night, like, and it's not that I was hungover or anything. It's just like, I was just tired.
Yeah.
Like, cause like I was physically tired, like 7 days of like this back-breaking work, just fucking like beating the shit out of myself.
Yeah.
I looked at him and said, it's like, if there's drill pipe in the derrick, I'm going home.
What does that mean?
Okay, so if there's drill pipe in the derrick, that means they pulled out of the hole and there's stuff that they have to change because like something went missing or something went wrong.
Right.
We came over to the top of the hill where we could actually see the rig. and there was drill pipe in the derrick. And I looked over at him, like, I shook my head. It's like, I'm out. I'm out. I'm fucking out. I pulled up to the rig. Normally, you never pulled right up to the rig because like there was no reason to. You were supposed to park way far away from the rig.
Yeah.
And so if there was a fire or whatever, you could get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
I pulled right up to the rig. Went to my locker, grabbed everything. I didn't even give a fuck. Grabbed everything, threw it in the box of my truck. Fuck you. I'm out. It was 8 o'clock in the morning. I think by 2 o'clock, I was at home and I was drinking a beer. It's like
the smartest thing I've done all week.
Yeah. I got home and I think like I wasn't like I was living by myself, but I think I came to my hometown. My parents were like, "What are you doing home? I thought you were at work." It's like, "No, I'm done. I quit." They're like, "Why?" It's like, "I'll tell you later." It's
right
just
now.
bad.
Yeah.
And they could see it, like the look in my eyes. I was just fucked. So
this is the vision of a defeated man.
This is the best thing that happened to me all week. Yeah. I mean, we could go and talk about oil field stuff for probably another 4 hours, but
it's oil field work is something that, you know what, reality TV will never truly capture. Be it drilling rigs like you or fracking like me.
No,
like a lot of the stuff that you see on TV, like ice road truckers, I want to reach across and just slap every single one of those fuckers.
My uncle was an ice road trucker. He's like, no, that shit doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. No, it's dramatized for TV.
Yeah. There was one show that was actually a little more accurate, but I can't remember what it was called now, about a drilling rig. It wasn't The Rig, but there was another one that was a little more accurate compared to what it would normally be. Yeah.
But like working in the oil field and dealing with that, like I said, that's a not necessarily like a hidden world, but it's definitely an unknown one. Like it's one of those things where you have the typical veteran where saying like, you weren't there, man. You got to fucking be there, because it is something that doesn't really get talked about. It's not hidden, but at the same time, it's also not exposed. You know.
Well, the thing about that world is it doesn't exist anymore.
No.
It's not there. It's there. It's gone. Like the days when there was 350 rigs working in Alberta and another 100 in Saskatchewan and another like 80 in BC. Those days are gone. They'll never happen again. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of people that are banking on that, and I really wish it would, for the sake of that, like for all those people working. But it's not, like, realistically, it's not going to.
Yeah. No. You and I and even my buddy Ryan got out probably when we needed to. And like I know that just looking at the market and also looking at my investments and where they were headed towards the end of 2013, like, no, I'm as if I already didn't have a reason to leave, I'm fucking leaving.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Anyway, this is your show.
Yeah. Well, man, it's been a good one. It was the oil field episode. That's what we're going to call it.
That's jaunt down memory lane.
Yeah. And it made me think about a lot of things that I fucking forgot over the years. Man, I used to have nightmares about the rig. We called them rigmares.
Rigmares.
Because you'd be at home and you'd wake up in the middle of the night. It's like, holy fuck, I'm supposed to be at the rig right now. Then you look around. It's like, no, I'm at home. Oh my
god. No. I should make breakfast.
No, I should go back to bed.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Awesome, man. No, it was a good one. It's good. It's a good chat. Good chat.
Yeah.
So we were gonna talk about something we're gonna talk about next time, but I guess
just have to tune in and find out.
Yeah. You guys will know when we know, because
when we figure this shit out, you will know.
Maybe because a lot of this is just off the cuff. This whole episode actually ended up over 2 topics.
Yeah.
And it was Prince Phillip dying and DMX dying. That's all we had planned for tonight.
Yeah, but exactly.
Else, yeah.
All right. You and I both have stories to share.
This is true. My name is Darrell. This is JD. We are out for tonight. Thank you for checking out the Lost Signals podcast, and we are going to see you next time.
Take care.
Bye-bye.